Yeah, we are live.
Welcome. Welcome,
Yes, we are
everyone,
live.
to
Good evening,
today's.
ma'am.
Welcome to the last day of our conference. It's been an amazing 5 days of impact.
Yes.
No one that attended this conference is allowed to lose in their parenting. Everyone must celebrate their win because we have been able to crack the code. Welcome and thank you for joining us again and again. You are welcome. Last day of winning parenting battles 2025, brought to you by the Visionary Parent Academy. If you are live with us, please drop your heart emoji for us to know that we are not alone. Welcome. Welcome, Coach Omolabake. Welcome, our new coach. It's a pleasure having everyone on board tonight. And as we
Thank,
start, I want to introduce every one of us in this call tonight to everyone. However, if you have been following us since the inception of this conference, we are all faces that you are familiar with. Coach Omolabake took us in one of the sections where she shared her story, how she got her baby while she was just in 100 level. And we have our lead coach that shared with us the lessons that she would have loved to learn and how she paid dearly for it yesterday. And my humble self, I shared with us how to raise visionary and kingdom-minded children. So today, we'll be going over what we have done thus far, and we'll be adding some nuggets for us to be able to stand it all. Welcome, everyone. So, day one, Coach Omolabake, are you with us now?
Coach Odegbami, can you put on your camera? Go on, man.
All right, I wanted to be here with
So
us.
my mic is just moving. All right, it's fine. Let's go on.
All right, day one, we had Coach Karen. Coach Enemy, can you help us with day one summary, man?
Okay, thank you so much, ma. It's been an amazing conference. If you ask me, it has been a lot of learning and unlearning. For me, I have learned a great deal from every single coach, from Coach Karin, day one, Coach Hellen, day one to day two, day three, day four, to day five, and of course, day five. Day one, Coach Karin took us through on a journey of, we always have this mindset that, oh, Oyibos, their children raise their children are sport brats. Coach Karin made us to understand that, see, the principles are the same everywhere. You only need to understand. And one of the things she taught us was understanding your child, who your child is, and how much difference it makes. And one thing that stood out for me was when she said that if, for example, you have a child who is an inspiring child, because she gave us different how to understand our children. She talked about a fast-paced child. She talked about the slow-paced child. Now, the fast-paced child, um, they are kind of, should I say, divided into two. where you have the fast-paced who loves tasks, who is task-oriented, and the fast-paced who is people-oriented. Then we also have the slow-paced who is task-oriented, and the slow-paced who is people-oriented. Now, when she talked about the fast-paced who is people-oriented, and something she said about the fast-paced who is people-oriented is that when you don't understand these children, you may not be able to meet their needs. For example, the fast-paced who is people-oriented, his needs are recognition. They want to be recognized. They want to be that's acknowledged. They want to be three needs she talked about: recognition, acceptance, and being popularity. So they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be recognized. That kind of child that does something that they always want to, or they want people to know. It's not like they are bragging, but they just want people to know, to notice them. So if that child's primary needs are not met, it's like the child is going to go illogical. They are going to be unreasonable in their misbehavior. They are going to do things they don't think through. They don't care about it. They just behave randomly. She talked about the fast-paced, task-oriented. Those children are very strong-willed. They may go rebellious against you. Then she talked about the slow-paced, task-oriented. Those ones may sulk, Then the other one, the slow-paced, people-oriented, those are predominantly people-pleaser. So you need to understand your children. When you understand them, it becomes easy for you to meet their needs. Now, one of the ways to raise children, whether abroad, whether in Nigeria, is to understand them and be able to meet their needs. When you meet their individual needs, it's easy for you to get your children to behave. She gave us practical examples about her children who are strong-willed, how she disciplines them. With her discipline method, she doesn't have to raise sport brats. She's not raising sport brats with her discipline method. So she shared that also with us. And one thing again I was trying to say that stood out for me was when she said, children who are inspiring, the inspiring children are the ones who are fast-paced and at the same time people-oriented. And she said that when those children, when you don't meet their needs, they are going to seek ways, because human beings, we just love to be heard, we love to be seen, we love to feel loved. Now, these different categories of people, they feel loved different ways, like the fast-paced and the inspiring child, recognition and popularity. Now, when you don't meet their needs, they are going to seek it anywhere. They are going to get extra. They are going to get extreme. They can even become unreasonable or illogical in their behaviors. So they may take to extreme misbehaviors because their needs were not met. So in all, children who are whether abroad or Nigeria, we need to understand our children. And she also talked about structure. She said it is your role to raise your child. So no matter the personality of your child, you need to set boundaries and create structures. So very many times when parents say, oh, their children are sports brats, it boils down to the fact that they may not have had structure. They may not have had boundaries, They probably just wing it or just do it anyhow. So that was the summary. She actually said a lot. She said a lot. It was over an hour class. So you want to go back to day one with Carrie Wagnon and go back and learn how you can raise your child not to be a sport brat, whether you are in Nigeria or whether you're in Africa or whether you are overseas. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you, ma'am.
To add, understanding your child. That 1 hour class may look overwhelming. It might be difficult for some people to comprehend. At the Visionary Parents Academy, are you hearing me back?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay. So what happened is that at the Visionary Parents Academy, we have Understanding Your Child Challenge. And there is a book authored by our lead coach, Understanding Your Child. See, you will understand your child, you will understand yourself. Because one of the things Coach Harris made us realize that day was that it is not only understanding yourself, but understanding yourself, where your personality falls in this temperament issue. So if you are unable to understand yourself as a parent, it might be difficult for you to also understand yourself. So the first step is for you to understand yourself. Know the kind of person you are, your triggers, your activity level, your intensity level. You know, when you understand yourself, it becomes easy for you to be able to understand your child. And I would recommend to you that you should send a DM to get understanding your child, authored by our lead coach, Coach Enemy. So that is that. And that's day one. It was the one that Coach Hellen took up in the evening.
Yes.
Coach Hellen told us about
Yes, ma'am.
raising a moral child in a time like this. Morally sound children.
Morally right.
And what did you say, ma?
No, I was going to give you the
She said
topic. It's
morally
fine, ma.
right.
Go on.
All right, ma.
Yes.
So
No, I don't want to. Yes. Okay.
that day, Coach Hellen, I think she put a topic under 3 sub-headings. First is for us to understand the world our children live in. And she make us to realize that we may not be able to take our children from this world. Because even as a Christian, the Bible makes us to realize that we live in the world, but we are not part of the world.
Absolutely.
So which means that the dynamics of the world may not be able to raise a morally sound child, but we can design the kind of life that we want our children to live. And you know, today, everything we are saying, for us to have the end in mind, for us to be able to have in mind that what type of child do I want to be? Who do I want my children to be in another 10 years? How do they want to react to certain things? What will be their response to life? Then from now, we want to start shaping their world view. The way they will view world, the way they will view situations is going to be affected by the way we live them. So you can never be fully aware of all the challenges your children will go through. That was one of the things Coach Hellen told us. And which is true. In fact, our own parents, they didn't know that the world would be like this. They never had a clue that we'll have a time that every one of us will have direct access to the internet without going to cyber cafe. And here we are today. So we may not be able to pretend. We may not be able to role play. We may not be able to create all the scenario that our children will go through. But we can prepare them. It is that preparation that will make the difference in their life. And she said a
Hello.
profound statement that day, I meant, isolate your child from the world, but you can insulate them. You can insulate them with the word of God. You can insulate them with your structure. You can insulate them with your principles, with your family values and structures. And the number two thing she said was understanding your role. So as parents, you must know what is expected of you in this system.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Lead?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I think, Coach, this network is having issue. But I just wanted to
Oh,
share what stood out for me is the one was that Coach Wagon, she made a very valid point, even from the coaches that we have had in the course of the conference, from the day one to the last day, which was yesterday. We realize that there is a foundation, there is something basic that every one of us has talked about, and which is the aspect of connection, understanding your child, knowing your children. She made something that was very, very cogent. She said all this clinical analysis about HDA, children having this,
absolutely,
having that,
absolutely,
that is
absolutely,
is is as a result of people not understanding their child. That word hasn't left my brain since day one, because I'm just like,
absolutely,
this is just it. Because truly, if you as a parent understand your child, you'll be able to know how to relate. You'll be able to know the kind of words. She gave examples of her children that she knows. She is telling one of her child that you are so sweet, and the child will take a look at her and be like, but that's not true, I'm not sweet. But it's knowing your child. When you know that, then you know how to approach, you know what to use, you know how to deal, you know the right, you will just know everything right to do to that child. So you wouldn't have to wait for anybody to come and do clinical diagnosing analysis on your child, and they start to tell. We are not saying that we don't have children that actually have some kind of challenges and all of that, but the bulk of it lies with us, the parent. And which is why we're encouraging, we are saying that, look, this journey of parenting in this era cannot be done alone. In the time of our parents, they were doing it based on what they know, and they weren't seeking knowledge. Now we are saying that there needs to be a community, and which is what Visionary Academy is all about. It's a community where we all come together, we learn, we unlearn so many
we
things.
unlearn
Another
so
thing
many
Coach
things.
Ellie said
Another thing
even
Coach
still
Ellie
boils
said,
down to the
even
fact that
still boils down
there
to
is
the
a
fact
need
that there
to
is a
build a
need to
strong
build a strong
connection with our children, so
connection
that
with our
they can conveniently come home and have conversation with us. She said that even Coach Jinadu has also said it, that even though we are in, you cannot I mean, what you can't, I remember the word now, but you can incubate your something. I can't remember the exact way she put it, but even
okay,
though,
okay.
yes,
You can uproot the
that
seed you did not plant.
yes, even though these
I don't remember
children,
how.
even these children, even though they are in this world, there is a way that you can build them so much from home, that even when they go out there, they can know what their family values are. They know what they are expected to do per time. I was just going through a book right now, and it's saying that values are the way that we have chosen to live our life, what we want to do, what we have set as standard for us. So those, if the one was fire, 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 fire for me. And I just can't let go of some of those words. And I hope that every other person that have joined, to further learn more, to further know how you can understand your child. In the Visionary Academy, we have books, we have challenges, monthly challenges. And what are these challenges about? They are basically about understanding your child. And even aside from you understanding your child, you as a parent, you need to, like our book of the month is talking about, parenting from inside out. Do you understand? There are some ways that we react to issues with our children. There are some ways that we want to parent our children that we can, if we don't trace back to when we were younger, we might not be able to find answers and solutions. We might just find ourselves repeating the narrative. Rather, we are supposed to be agents of change. We don't want to have broken children. We don't want our children to have the kind of memories that we have that we are not pleased with. But the only way that we can achieve all of this is for us to be part of community where we discuss together. There is nobody that is that there's nobody that is an encyclopedia of knowledge. Do you understand? So there is a need for us to be in a community of like minds where we rub minds, and that is why more than ever before we are pushing the Visionary Academy out there, that if you are part of this academy, if you are taking action, then you will see results.
Thank you, thank you. You know, I just listened to you share some insights from Coach Karen, and I was like, how did I miss talking about that? You know, when she talked, when she talked about when you don't understand your child, people will label your child, they will misdiagnose your child, and I have always said that. I have said that thing several times. I said I believe that children, that very many, not all the children, very many children that are termed HGAD, you know, hyperactivity deficiency disorders, something like that. You know, hyperactivity. I don't know the full name. I can't place my mouth and tongue on it now. Yes, yes, ADHD. I'm trying to put hyperactivity. Hey, okay, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder. You know, yes, I've always believed that, you know, these children, they are children with high energy. Now, as a parent, if you do not have boundaries, if you don't have structure, and you are not able to teach them emotional intelligence by way of having boundary structure, by way of modeling it, by way of creating an atmosphere that nurtures it, these children, they will not know when to stop. They will not know limits. They will not know boundaries. So when they go out, they are all over the place. They are jumping because naturally they are high energy people. Now, Karen said something. She said they are fast paced and they are people's people, which means that because they are fast paced, they do things quickly. Like they move quickly. They will talk, you know, they have high energy. Now, because they are people's people, they will move from one person to another. They want to make people laugh. They want to do things that will get remember their needs. One of their needs is being popular. So they want to do things that will make people see them. They want to always be in the face of people. Now, put all these things together. You will realize that this child will easily be diagnosed, especially if the child is coming from a home that there is no guidance, there is no structure, no boundaries. Every single thing goes. This child can easily be diagnosed with ADHD. She said that. Thank you so much, Coach Odegbami, for bringing it up. Yes, yes, that was a valid point. And I've also always said one thing, you know, when she also talked about the other slow-paced children who are in my book, Understanding Your Child, I call them like the inspiring child, they are the sanguines. The other one that are slow-paced and task-oriented, they are the melancholics. You know, if you understand those kind of children, they will easily get depressed because they are slow-paced, they are task-oriented, and they are perfectionists. And guess what? No one is perfect. You know, Coach Karen talked about all of these things. You need to go back to day one to watch Coach Karen Wagnon, and then Coach Jinadu was talking about Coach Hellen too. Coach Hellen, you know, one of the things that actually stood out for me, one of the things that gave me, are you serious right now, was when Coach Hellen talked about her children's school. I shared a video on Facebook prior to this conference, you know, where some SS3 students, they were graduating and they were all jubilating. And the next thing, the boys, they were signing or writing or scribbling on the girls' on the girls' uniform, and they were even scribbling on some of the girls' breasts, you know, and all of that. And she said to me that she said in the conference that in her daughter's school, which is not a public school, is a private school that they pay a lot of money. Just like the school is very populated. You know how it is with schools with population. Once a school has population, you can be sure you will see all good, the bad, the ugly, and the terrible. Because, you know, it is a private school where they pay a lot of money. She said the girls and the boys, they also did the same thing. They were scribbling on each other. The boys were scribbling on the girls' breast, and some of the girls now said, okay, since you wrote on my breast, I'm going to write on your penis too. That was like, okay. I saw the video of writing on the girl's chest and the breast. I never knew that they will also take it further. And now these are how seeds are being planted. They are having orientation about sex and everything. And then you will now wonder, how did we get here? I shared a video one time about a boy who said he never knew there was a club in Lagos where people just openly make out with each other. You go there and you watch people make out. And a lot of people were commenting on that, oh, go to Port Harcourt, it's also there. It have been there before. And people were asking under the comment section, how did we get there? How did we? It begins with the mindset. It begins with the mindset. It begins with the mindset. That was it. I actually picked out from Coach Hellen, and she talked about a lot of things. And one of the other things I picked from Coach Hellen was when she said, constantly debrief your children. When they get back from school, bother, debrief them. What does this mean? Simply means catch up with them. And it's something we do in the Visionary Parents every day. We talk about it. You must ask your children how their day went, what happened, what significant event took place in school. Take it for that. You are not just asking for the sake. I always say in the Visionary Parents Academy, you're not asking because, oh, you've been told to ask. In the Visionary Parents Academy said, ask that. No, you're not asking. You are actually asking to know what went on in school today. Which of your friends were in school? Which of your friends got into trouble? Which one did not get into trouble? Why did they get into trouble? You want to understand all those things. The idea is to be able to help guide your children. I do it every single time. My kids come back, they're asking me, they're telling me what happened in school. I'm listening to them. After listening to them, we take it from there as we are gisting. I'm teaching them. I'm reminding them of our values and what the scripture says. I keep telling them that Moses was in Egypt. He was an adopted child of the royal family. In fact, he was the grandson of King Pharaoh. He was a grandson. Yes, because it was the daughter that adopted him now, that picked him by the riverside. But even at that, he still was able to identify with his people. I tell my children every single day, I remind them, you are in this place doesn't necessarily mean you are of them. Coach Helen talked about all of this. She taught us literally how to raise your children so that they don't get lost or swallowed in the times they are. Because the times we all agree that it is
perilous.
It is sad. Thank you so much.
It is perilous. Let me just add again. Coach Helen also told us about the place of prayer in protecting our children. She emphasized that we should protect our children in the place of prayer. We cannot underplay it because prayer is a tool in parenting, and that was established when she spoke with us. So if we have been careless in the place of prayer in our parenting, it is time we wake up to this reality. We cannot parent without God. We cannot take God out of our parenting because there are so many things that we may not know. Just like one link that somebody shared at the Visionary Parents Academy. Was it yesterday or Friday evening? She shared that link and that person was saying that even Job, that was still making sacrifices on behalf of his children and everything, the children were swallowed. The children were swallowed in these challenges of life. So it's one of the reasons why we must keep on praying. Yes, my people will say, somebody that is still praying, is still facing challenges of life. How much more somebody that refused to pray? So as parents, we cannot say that we know everything and we will refuse to pray. And in addition to our role as parents is to gain knowledge. Knowledge is one of those things that makes a whole lot of difference in parenting. You cannot parent your child beyond what you know. And that was one of the things that stood out also for me. Coach Worry Mom, she took us on a journey that opened our eyes to the realities in public school. And for us to be able to know the challenges they are facing even as a teacher, and for every parent that may want to send their children there to be ready to face this war. You know, it's like a serious battle when you want to send your children to public school. See, when we talk of public school, either primary, secondary, or tertiary.
Worry mom gave us hot, hot, hot. She gave us all of the street vibe. Worry mom gave us all of the street vibe, like just having it raw. You don't have any excuse as a parent. She said, if you know ready to do the work, make you no born. And
That
that
is
is
the
it.
truth.
Parenting is a lot of work. It's not a child's play. You must be ready to do the work. You must be able to put in all of the effort. You must go all out there to seek information. And she gave us a lot of assignments. She was telling us about the fact that, look, one of the duties that you need to know as a parent, you need to know your child's classmates, their names, and the surname of all of their friends. And even though it might look like it's impossible, but I know that some teachers, they know all the students. In fact, we have teachers that know all the names of the students in the school that they are teaching. How, if they can do that? We are only giving tax. That tax alone is telling us that there is a lot of work to be done. There's no room for excuse. You can't parent and leave the child to chance. You can't be like a destica. You have to be a fighter. You have to be a warrior, because we know that even though they are in school, we know teachers that those times when we were younger, that story used to fly a lot around, where they'll be saying that some teachers took the glory of some children, but somehow that kind of example faded away, and a lot of parents forgot or think that, oh, because somebody is your child's class teacher, then it means that, oh, your child is even safe. Talking about the place of prayer, that you must, is a war, just like her name. You must war. You must, like the war room, you must war and pray for that your child to be protected, because they are destiny snatchers. So, for Worry Mom, it was street vibe all the way, and that really got me. It was so much.
Thank you,
Okay,
ma. You know,
um,
she said something
okay,
that you cannot undo
Yes,
what
and
you
Worry Mom
endure
again.
daily at home. And that is profound for me. It is somehow when people want, the schools that my children attended, I used to tell them, and when I'm speaking with some of the parents that we had our children there then, that I see a lot of parents, they will just bring their children to school because it's a mission school. They will just come and dump their children, believing that this is a reformation center, this is a rehabilitation center. So it is not possible for you to begin to expect the school to take up your role. And that was one thing. The school will try their best, but it is not the role of the school to help you to teach your children moral, to teach your children about godliness, to teach your children about manners. If they do, that thing is just sideways. The major bulk of it is with the parents. And if they are teaching your children how to be respectful, and what you are teaching or modeling at home is how to be disrespectful, then the school cannot help you. All right, welcome, Coach
Coach
David.
David,
You are welcome to this call. Go ahead, ma.
I wanted to
thank you.
also add that,
Yes,
All
I
right,
wanted to
what
that
stood
was
out
that
for me?
was one thing I actually took from her.
I wanted to quickly add that, do you know that a lot of people, a lot of parents, I want to believe that is just, I'm sorry, but it's pure laziness in the part of parenting. Coach Emine, I would like to create a kind of background. You know, when she's saying that people just bring their children to the school to come and dump them and they expect the child to do it because the child is in public school. I remember when we were much younger, when, you know, before my dad now, you know, really got established, my the first three children, my eldest, they were going to public school. And my parents, even though they were in public school, they were always doing the work. I remember, I think when I was in lower primary in a public school before we eventually now changed to a private school, I can remember a scenario where my teacher was always complaining because I'm left-handed, and she was always complaining that why do I write with my left hand, and she asked me to tell my mom to come to the school. And my mom came to the school then, and she was complaining bitterly about the fact that I was always writing with my left hand. What I'm trying to say is that we always try to create a scenario that if the fact that a child is going to public school does not mean that the parents should be involved. I want to say that I'm sorry if it's coming harsh, but I feel it's a laziness on the part of the parent, because I know that even though when my brothers, my eldest sister and brother were in school, in public school, before we were eventually changed, my mom was actively involved. She doesn't sit down and say, because you are going to public school, when then you are left for to the teachers to take care of them, just like Coach Nodu was saying. People, it's not only public school, even in private school. I've been in school whereby parents will bring their children's food. They bring garri. They say the school should please, their children don't like to take swallow, so they bring garri. In a private school that I was teaching, they will bring garri and drawing soup. They don't make the eba. They will bring the garri and beg the school that they should please make the eba, that it's only the teacher that can enforce the children to eat the food. Can you imagine the extent parents go to?
That's serious.
They just, I don't
So
know
well
what
done.
the image of school is. They are not willing to take up their responsibility. They want the school to do everything for them.
All right, Coach David, go ahead, ma.
Well, no, what stood out for me was when Coach Jinado was speaking about how parents should take their spiritual life very seriously. You know, in my little time as a parent, I discovered that parents want their children to know God, they want their children to do spiritual things, but they do not want to model this to their children. You know, a pastor once said, has your child ever seen you pray? Has your child ever seen you study the Bible? Has your child ever seen you do one spiritual activity or the other? You cannot give to your child what you do not have. So I want to advise parents that if you want to have a praying child, yourself you must pray. They must see you when you are praying. A pastor once said, don't close the door of your room when you are praying. Leave it open. Allow your children to see you always praying. Apart from the time that you are praying with them, let them always see you praying. And when they do that, when they see you, even when times are not convenient for them, you will be an inspiration to them. They will always see you. You know that, my mother, my father, they are prayerful. And when they also grow up, they want to do that because they saw it actually work. Do you study the word of God yourself? Do they catch you studying it apart from the time you are doing it in family devotion and you are doing it with them? They want to see you do that. Then there's something that I also saw trending as we were children growing up. You see that we have children who come from Christian homes, but as soon as they leave home, maybe to the higher institution, they want to do anything that they want. And I saw that the parents lived an hypocritical life. They taught them the word of God, they pray together, but they lied the way they were living. It
Coach
was
David,
not
we are
showing that this make your spiritual life rub off on your children so that the children will not need to follow God. They will see it in you. They will see what, hello?
hello, go ahead, ma.
Hello? Okay, so they will see what you're doing, they will see your life, and then that your life will rub off them. And you do not have to follow them up and down. Thank you.
All right, ma.
I think something else stood out. Mrs. Adegoke was talking about school, how she organized seminars for the parents.
Your network is cracking, ma. We can't hear you.
I think that is something very
We can't hear you, Coach David.
profound for me. And while she was saying that,
Hello, Coach
hello,
David.
can you hear me now?
Okay. Go ahead, ma.
Okay. Okay, I think her network is breaking.
Yes,
She
ma.
was talking about Mrs. Adegoke. You will agree with me that I always say that when I was in Lagos, I taught across schools from Ikorodu to Lekki Phase 1. Then Sha School is in Bagada, and the schools were
Okay,
very,
so
very
she said something
amazing.
profound about
Coach David, let's Coach finish first, ma.
Okay, but Mrs. Adegoke, I noticed that she was very intentional and her school grew very fast, and I was always very impressed with the things she did. So one of the things I learned from
and
her,
are
like
not
I want to,
involved.
one
Coach
of the
Anime,
things
we
that
can
actually
hear
stood
you.
out for one of the things that stood out for me that I would like all of us to imbibe is almost like one thing that Worry Mom talked about when she said we can actually go to schools and adopt one school as just like volunteering work. You know, start a club there, leadership club, behavior, anything you want to name it, etiquette and grace, character building, future leaders, girls guide, boys boys code, girls code, anything you want to name it, just take it weekly and be consistent. So Ms. Adegoke actually said something like that, a parent in her school who does that, and I find that very, very, very helpful. I find that very, should I say, inspiring or motivating, really. And I want to encourage us here. They may not pay us. When I was in Lagos, really, there was a school I always go and speak. It was a friend that used to go there and speak. When they are doing, I think Girls' Day, is it World International Day of the Girl Child? They will invite her. So when she got super busy, she just gave them my number. She told me they don't pay. As it's a government school. I said, okay, that's fine. And actually went there for 2 years, go there to speak. And I realized that, see, a lot of these children need mentorship. They do not know. Yesterday, I talked about, when it was my session, I talked about the guidance I never got. Really, a lot of parents are super ignorant. They don't even know what they should know. They have no idea. Yet these teenagers, I live in an environment where teenagers are, the average teenager, they are so clueless. They are super clueless. You are talking to a teenager and it's almost as if you are pouring water into rock. You feel that you should know this thing now. This thing should be common sense. To them, it's not common sense. It's like, I beg, it's impossible. I beg, leave that thing. I see that they can't even think of growth. They can't think, they don't have a vision. They just live life like the way we lived our life. No vision, no purpose, just go with the flow. And I feel teenagers should know better than that. So if we can take one school, adopt one school, go to one school and talk to them, even if it's just 45 minutes once in a week, 45 minutes, you go there, you teach them. I want to encourage us all, and I'm going to encourage the visionary parents, please. We should just see what we can do. It can be a private school, a low-cost private school. It can be a public school. We just see what we can do. 45 minutes once a week or a fortnight. I'm certain it will go a long way to help. And if you are a teenage, if you are a parent also, you are in church, you can volunteer in your children department. Volunteer in your children department. Volunteer in your children's department, please. Go there and also do, because a lot of parents, they don't even have any idea. They go to the big church, you see them, they are quarreling. My child is this one. Why are children playing all over? Why is this one? The other day, parents came to me and was telling me that, oh, the child said the class is boring. The class is boring, you know. I asked the child, what makes the child class boring? Boring. Let's talk about it. So if parents like that, why don't you come into the class and do your bits? Why don't you come and do your bits? Come and impact. Come and do something. Let's impact these children together. So please, I want to encourage you. Please take it up. Take it up. It's a challenge. It's a call for all of us. For all you know, this is the only reason you actually attended this conference. This is what God wants to tell you, that you should go and impact. For all you know, the child you are impacting may make a difference in life tomorrow. I always believe that, see, this life, we are interconnected. We're interconnected. You do not know how your action is impacting another person. You don't know how that impact will come back and haunt you. We are interconnected. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Coach David, it's like you wanted to say something.
Yes, I was talking about how, as parents, we have to, like the school educator, Mrs. Adeloke, was telling us how she trains her parents everything. And I
We
saw it
can't hear
like
you.
I live in a suburb, so a lot of parents do not know why their children are in school. You hear how schools will be asking the parents to help their children with the homework, especially the children in the nursery, because the parents are always school. And parents will always come back and say they are giving them too much work to do. For God's sake, you are telling them to teach manners in school, teach academics in school, teach morals in school. So what is the work of the parent? Just pay money and send the child off. So I want to see how I can, as a person, reach out to schools around, see if they could organize things like seminars for parents to know more about their children and how they can partner with schools to help their children for a better upbringing, because they used to say that raising a child is for a community. We can't do it alone. The school can't do it alone. So how we can put our hands on and see how we can partner with schools to help our children. You know, sometimes, like we learn, a lot of parents don't know how their children learn. You see, a lot of children are frustrated learn because their parents do not understand how they learn. So I really appreciate what Mrs. Adegoke said, and that really stood out for me when she came up the other day.
Thank you, ma'am. During Coach Omolabake's section, she shared her experience and she opened our eyes to the fact that there are a lot of things that our children may get themselves involved in. But one thing that she said was that our children are not too young for us to share certain experiences with. Then you must allow your children to take responsibility. The issue of caging our children, locking them up, is an archaic method of raising children. Because it's one of those things, although parents before, they thought that that's a way for them to preserve the curiosity of their children, but unknown to them, that the moment you release the child, the child will grow wild. There are so many things that the child will want to experiment. And at the same time, she says something that she never heard, nobody sat her down to sex educate her. And this is where knowledge comes in. So many parents doesn't know what to even teach their children. They doesn't know. And that is why we won't stop talking about being in a community of like-minded parents. Because if you are there, you'll be guided. You will have a template for you to be able to know what to teach your child at every stage. At a certain developmental stage of every child, there are certain things that the children should know. When the child is approaching certain stage, you want to wait for the child to get to that stage before you teach and prepare the child for the stage. And that is one of those things that she said that day that is very, very important for us as a parent to take note of. And the knowledge you don't have, you cannot give your children. We can't parent by chance. That was what Coach Omolabake said. We can't parent by chance. We must be intentional. We must be strategic in our parenting if indeed we want to raise a godly, a total child in this era. We also have, let me say something about Mrs. Adegoke. She said something that we need to collaborate with the school. One thing is that you collaborate with the school, you collaborate with your religious places. That is what will help us to be able to raise a total child. So the collaboration can be in any form, but ensure that you collaborate with your children, with the system wherein you put your child, either a religious body or a school. You must ensure that you collaborate with them. And you know one thing, most of the time, because we do not stand for anything as family, it plays out in the way our children grow up. If you do not have a system at home, then your children will just be wayward, when they now get to a place that is structured, they will find it difficult to cope. And that's one of the reasons why in all from all the speakers, we have seen that connection, structure has been mentioned repeatedly every day. So by now, if there is any parents that have not looked into the word structure in their home, structure in everything. The moment you notice any area that you are struggling in your parenting, which means that you need to build a structure around that. So we have our lead coach also yesterday. Okay, I think I had my section before then. Let Coach Odegbami and Coach David, any one of you can take up from there.
Okay, Coach Orimo was talking about raising street smart children, and it stood out for me because sometimes we are raising.
I don't know. My phone is telling me that there's a liquid content and it's 10%. I'm trying to change, trying to sort the issue out. But I will quickly make my comment because my phone is about 5%. Coach Jinodu's section was fire for me. And what stood out for me in all of the things that she taught us that day during our section was the fact that in everything that we want to do, there is a need for us to be prayerful. And she gave us instances of how she was able to, have a set of prayer that she has done. Look, when we are having our children or we are parenting, a lot of us, there are things that we didn't know from the very beginning in terms of spirituality, how to get ourselves up to date. And truly, before we can even say that we want to teach this thing to our children, we ourselves, what you don't have, you cannot give. You must know this God for yourself. And that was something that I got from what she was saying. Because if as a parent, you have not yet established a relationship with God, how can you now say that you want to now give that thing that you have not established to your own children? So there is a need for us to be, it's not about, she said, there was a way she put it, said activity is not spirituality. A lot of time people go to church, they are engaging in all of these things, especially pastors, ministers in church. They get carried away. They are carried away with the church activity. They neglect their own children, which is what we have seen that is very common around Father. Christian children from Christian zone, we find them doing things that they are not supposed to do. There is a great respect that I have for Reverend Funke Adejumo. She always says something whenever she goes anywhere to minister, and her children are there. As they are introducing her, once she herself is mounting that stage, she's going to by herself introduce that she didn't come here alone. No, she is also here with her children. Do we know what that means? That means that she's giving that respect, that honor. She doesn't want the children to feel that because your mother is a minister, then because you are there, you shouldn't be recognized. That for me is somebody that is an intentional parent. She will tell you that when her children were much younger, she wasn't engaging in all of the activities in the church. She picked the ones that will not affect the training of her child. And even when they are in the house, they are not talking. They have days that they discuss, you know, like, how do I put it? Natural occurrences that these children can face. And that's what Coach Jinodu tried to tell us that day, that don't get carried away and now think that because you are into church activity, that means that you are now heaven bound or your safety is guaranteed. You must first have that relationship, and also make sure that in your work with God you are also carrying your children, because first and foremost, God has given us those children not only for us to now engage in every other thing and neglect them. We must carry them, just like we are learning to see how we can parent better. We need to also learn the spiritual part, how to build these children. In fact, that section, I was eagerly waiting for it. I even sent her a message that I cannot wait to have this section, and she didn't disappoint at all. She gave it to us, and more than ever before, we must take action. We must take action as parents. We must not be lazy. A lot of time we find ourselves giving excuses, but we are not role modeling. We will now want to enforce it on our children. Coach, this section was amazing.
Thank you, ma. Coach David, over to you, ma.
Coach Warimon was teaching us that we should raise smart children. And I think that's that for me, because sometimes we raise children as if they're just up in our homes. They are not going to stay far. That if you are raising children that speak smart, you must understand the culture of that environment. She said something that you cannot raise a child around a place if you know that the house that they do not understand English, and your child is going to go and speak Queen's English in front of them to buy something. That will only make the child, people around, to raise their eyebrow. You can teach your child how to speak pidgin. If you live in an environment where you have to communicate that way, it's cultural, how to raise them to understand the culture of the environment where they live. She talked about how our children should be taught not to follow other people to their house. So she mentioned a story where the child just followed the friend and went to the friend's house, and that's how they organized. And they took her away to a riverine where she never returned many years back. How she now to Evangelist, became a wife, had children for the man. Until one day when somebody who saw who heard her speak English and now asked her and found out that she did not belong there and took her back. There's still the issue of leave your children, their friends, their classmates and their is very important, so that if something happens, they can always trace it back. Because when they took her back, she didn't know the person's, maybe just the first name, she didn't know that name. That's how hard it is. because the child did not understand, did not know the names. So we are still going back to our children not just being to themselves, knowing the names of their classmates, and all the parents also knowing the names of all classmates of our children, and maybe interacting further with our children, the kind of people these children may be. Sometimes children come, they come with so much, they discuss a lot of things that they affect our children, and that will go with share and ask them, like doing the activity a lot back from school. When our children are back, we teach them, ask how their school day was, the challenges their friends, and what happened in the day. As we interact like that, we know the kind of children the kind of friends our children interact with day after day, how to use this time at teachable moments when they bring up interactions like that. We know how to teach what's correct and how to represent and also tell their friends what is correct. These great smart children also stood out for me concerning Coach Warri's mom and section. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Yesterday.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I didn't even know I was muted. I've been trying to say something since I just realized I was muted. Okay, I wanted to say something. One point that Coach Nadu made that actually stood out for me was when she talked about integrity. When I asked her core values that she instilled in her children early, and she talked about integrity. We cannot overemphasize the importance of integrity in parenting. We cannot overemphasize the importance of integrity in parenting. If you don't have integrity, you are living a double life, and that is what you are modeling to your children. That's what you are reinforcing. That is what you are validating. I always say, I never see the thing where will make me talk lie. Maybe it's an emergency. Maybe my life or my kids' life depends on it. Maybe that is what will make me want to. I never see the thing when it will make me talk like. I remember one time when I used to do supply business, one of the boys that used to supply me was saying something. I was telling him something about what I told my customer, and he was like, "This is a long time ago before I even became super intentional." He was like, he was trying to convince me on how to navigate it, and I told him that no, so I won't lie, yo. I know they talk lie. I told him in my business I don't lie. And he said to me, Auntie Neme, you never harm her so, And I laughed and I told him, I said, you win the lie, how you don't hammer? What till you don't hammer? Like, and I see people do it all of the time. People do it. Actually, I've said this on Facebook before. Actually, people that have shops, they tell petty lies. Now you think it doesn't matter. Your child is there. They are watching you. I have said again before that. See, parents will say, "Oh, when I play with my children, they will see me finish." They start misbehaving. I said to them, your children will not see you finish because you play with them. One of the reasons your children will see you finish is if you do not have integrity. They see you lie. You lie for any reason. It is why they will see you finish. You are living a double life. So we cannot take the integrity away from our parenting. One of the things we need to instill in our children early, according to Coach Nadu, is integrity. Teach them how to be honest. Teach them how to say something and mean it. And one way we can teach it, according to her, is for us to model it. We want to live it. We want to make integrity a normal, a part. We want to create a structure around it in our parenting. You want to, that is why, so my children, if they ask me for something, I say to them in the Visionary Parents Academy that it is not an emergency. And I always say to them that it is not only when you are angry that it's not an emergency comes to play. It's not an emergency every single time. If you are not under pressure, your children ask you for something, it has to be a yes or a no. So if you know you don't have the right answer, you don't know if it's a yes or a no, you don't have to respond to it. If you have my daughter, the kind of daughter I have, that she's all over the place, every single time she's poking you and all of that, you will learn that it is never an emergency. Sometimes I just ignore. Sometimes I just say, can you come back? I need to think about it. Because I need to be integrous in my parenting, and I need to model integrity to them, even in my behavior, even when I go out. I remember sometimes I teach them something that, see, maybe they say, oh, mommy, somebody said this. I said, the person wasn't talking to you. The person was talking. No, they didn't. I tell my daughter, even if somebody comes and tells you, Pearl Orebo, your head is big. So Pearl Orebo, big head. I tell her that Pearl Orebo is your name, big head is not your name. So the person wasn't talking to you. Even if the person comes to say, they call your first name, your second name, your last name, and they now call you, she's senseless. I still tell her the person is not talking to you because you are not senseless. So many times I drive on the road, you hear people telling me something like, you dey mad, you dey crazy, I must drive myself. Now so woman, I beg, I just ignore them. And several times, I remember one time there was a woman in my car. She was just quarreling, and I just was looking. So the woman was trying to explain, and my kids were saying she wasn't talking to mommy, So I had to quickly cut in to explain to her what they meant. They say, "See me do it. You almost don't see me respond. Why don't I respond? It's not because maybe if I'm the only one driving, I will tell them. If they tell me you are mad, I'll tell them you were not the man. See how you be. I will respond. But once I have my kids in the car, I've even used to it, whether I'm the only one driving or not, I don't respond, because that is what I'm teaching them, that they are not talking to me. So I'm teaching them they are not talking to them. So I need to model it. That's me following through with what I have taught them. So when Coach Jinadu made that point yesterday, one of the things she taught her children early was integrity. I said, definitely we all need to be super intentional when it comes to integrity in our parenting. You need to teach your child something and walk it. Stand by it. Integrity. I just thought to bring that in again. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, Coach. Yesterday, Coach told us a story how she had got it out all by herself and the prices she paid for it. And yesterday, she told us the consequences, what happened most of the time when we leave our children to figure it out by themselves. And one more important thing is that she said, do not leave your children to figure it out by themselves. Be involved. That even if your children are not speaking to you, inquire. And one of the things that can make it easy for us to be involved is connection. If you are not connected, if you are not involved, if you are not there in the life of your children, I love to say something that, it looks harsh, just like the way Coach Omolabake said. If you are not present in the life of your children today, don't be surprised if they are not in your own life tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it's just like that. By that time, just like some story that Coach has shared with us, by the time some of our parents, when they were old, we were only doing what we felt that we should do for them as a child, or because we have the fear of God that we cannot leave them alone, not because we have a connection with them. So if you are not involved, it's not this involvement we are talking about. It's not paying school fee. It's not provision. No. Because most of the time we want to think that providing food, providing shelter, providing clothing is the only thing, is the only way by which we can reach the heart of our children. Unfortunately, that doesn't touch their hearts. So one of the things we want to note is that leaving them to figure it out by themselves is something that is dangerous. The prices for ignorance is huge, and I'm very sure we don't want to pay that. Just first thing, some of us we are still struggling with it. We are still trying to heal. We are still trying to come out of our shell simply because of our childhood. So we don't want that to go down to our children. Don't leave them to up themselves. Because what happens is that your children, as they try something several occasions and they fail, that will make them to withdraw. That will lead to self-doubt. That will lead to lack of self-confidence in themselves. Even when people can see have the potential, they will second guess themselves. So one of the things we want to note is that we do not want our children to figure it all out. And the only remedy is connection. Be present in their life. At every step in their life, make sure that you are involved. Because if you are not involved, you will lose connection with them. That's another thing that will happen. There won't be connection. So there are so many things that we need to understand that connection will do. There are things that you may not even know that is going on in the life of your children, but because of connection, they will walk up to you and they will tell you. It is more tragic if the mother and the father, but none of them is connected to their children. Because at least one person, the child should be able to come to one of them and speak up. And it is a great time for them. It is not good that they want to speak with you and you are looking at what do they want to say. You just ignore them. You just shun them off. It is not good. If you want to build connection with your children so that you will be involved in their life, you need to learn to build connection. You know, it is one of those things that I will tell you again. Building connection as strategy. And the strategy and templates we have at the Traditional Parents Academy. We have strategy to be able to build connection with your children. That is going to be seamless, effortless, without struggle. Initially, it may look like you are used to it, but there are things that you will do. It may just be for 5 minutes daily. We start our connection from the way we wake them up to the way we end our day. So it is not something that requires a lot of time. So if you are looking at it, I'm a busy person and this and that, no, that is not all. By the time we listen to our parents from home, and they were able to open our eyes. One of the instruments, a powerful tool that every parent abroad will need, structure, connection. Those two things is the summary for everything. The moment you don't understand what connection means, you will miss it as a parent. All right, go ahead, ma.
Okay, that structure stood out for me when Coach Ngozi was speaking. I have friends, and she told me that she worked 6 hours. When she's returning from work, the husband is going to work. That's in the evening, and that's how the rotation. I just thought to myself, how do the children cope? So one of the things that I felt that Coach Ngozi said that was putting things it was stressed that when they wake up in the morning, they have to do their devotion, depending on how they are to have bath, maybe have a meal time, you create structure for back from what to do, their church, and maybe they have bedtime. It will help you to born and grow properly. You know what they ought to have structure. Some children are not wired to be organized. Structure is what helps child who is not organized to remain organized. When your children apart from creating structure, one thing as parents you must do is give to remain consistent. You know, a coach talk about like coach if you're always going out as a parent, attending all sports functions and everything, it's going to be problem with that. One there are particular times in our children's life, great time is very important for all as parents very seriously because most times there are many things our children have faced in school. Okay, those evening every half children reading stories for time to play or read books for them. Like our children, parents they encourage you to talk. That's easy for you to have a pillow talk with your child, and your child be able to open up. It's time to what has happened in school was a good one for that has faced challenge or with the friends. And so create structures in our that's something we do in the time parents and to help show you how you can be structure that will help and support your children and help your children organize even when some and have that those routines may have to shift. Like the routine is different from the routines during school time, but structure will help our children thrive. That that connection and how to help the parents who are Jakpare to
I'm struggling to
when
hear
you are a
you.
busy parent and you have routines.
Yes, my
Always
network
call
is
and check
poor.
on your children.
We are struggling
Call
to
and
hear
check
you.
on
We are struggling. The lines, your
sorry,
network
these are net
is really breaking. So it's just breaking and breaking and breaking. We are struggling to hear the whole thing. One of the things that our abroad parents also said was
hi.
support them. It is important for you to build a support system. You cannot parent abroad living an isolated life, an island life. So everywhere you must make sure that you have a support system that at any point in time that can be a kind of backup for you. I'm not living abroad, so but one of the things I know is that anywhere you find yourself, even it's not only abroad alone that is relatable. Even here in Nigeria or any part of Africa, you might be listening to us. It is important for you to build a support system for your parenting. Why? There are times that you can get to, and one of the support systems that is important is being in a community of like-minded parents. I won't deceive you. There are every stage comes with their challenges. And these children, they are facing one thing, they are battling one thing or the other at every stage of their life. And because they are still, your children are toddler now, if you downplay what they are going through and you do not create a kind of support for yourself, by the time they become teenager, you might begin to see the struggle full blown. So it is important for us to build a support system for ourselves that will be a kind of thing that we can go back to, or a kind of backup for us. There are times that the kind of parenting struggle that one encounter can begin to weigh you down. But because you have built a kind of support for yourself, just like what Coach Dumebi shared with us yesterday, when she told us when she had her baby and she lost some things and things like that, and it was the support she had that didn't make her to even almost go into depression. So it is important for us to know that the place of building support in our parenting journey is very, very crucial. And yes, yesterday, Coach and also shared with us that your children cannot figure it out all alone. And she said something that was profound for me, that when you allow them to figure it all out by themselves, when their mates are trying, they will be surviving. That's huge. And do you know that one of the things that makes children to go into vices is this point? By the time a child has struggled in a particular thing and the parent is there to give maximum support, every other options that is made or the community or whatever is bringing his way, he might consider it. But if parents are there and they are involved and he knows that he's not alone in that struggle, the child will be able to weather the storm, and everything will become testimony thereafter. So we must also ensure that we have conversation with our children. Have conversation with your children. That was one of the things Coach told us yesterday. Have regular conversation with them. Like at the Visionary Parents Academy, we have pillow talk. We have something to discuss with our children on a weekly basis. And if your children are older, there is always a way for you to create room. And you know one thing? See, let me tell you something. If your children are younger and you have not been able to build that connection that will give room for flow of conversation, when they become teenagers, when they become young adults, you'll be frustrated because they will not see reason to discuss with you. They will not see reason to talk to you. So that is one of the reasons why now, if your children are still preteen, still adolescents, and they are not yet 18 and above, do everything to make sure that we mend defense. Coach Enemy, do you want to say anything, ma'am?
Thank you so much. You have said it all, really. You have said it all. That is it. We must be involved in our children's lives. You know, it's not just about paying school fees, providing shelter, providing. A lot of us were left to figure out our life. A lot of us were left to figure out our lives, you know, and because of that, we actually made mistakes. For people that some people that didn't make mistakes, they slowed down. It just personally, I know that leaving me to figure out my life didn't work well for me. They don't work well for me because, like I shared yesterday, I was very ambitious. I was an ambitious teenager, young person. I was ambitious. You know, I was easily inspired. And when I look at my daughter, I see myself in her because she's easily inspired. She sees one thing before she knows what is happening. She's like, you know, like someone who is confused. Oh, mommy, I like this thing. I want to do this thing. And a starter, she starts, and tomorrow she comes up, mommy, I want to do this thing. And I'm asking the other one, they started that day, what happened to it? You know, so I am there. I know that she's young. She's just 11. She's just trying to figure out a lot of things. She has no idea what she's doing, you know, but I am here to support, to guide, to explore, give her room to explore. Because I know that when you leave your children to figure it out on their own, it's not just about, because I use myself as a maybe passion or career, it doesn't end at that. Some children, some teenagers, they don't know anything about. I shared a story. One of my teenagers was telling me that the reason she's dating is because she knows that it takes like 5 years to date to know someone very well. So she's dating her so that at least by 5 years or 6 years time, she would have known the person very well to be able to marry the person. That teenager has been left to figure out her life. She has no idea. I had to start telling her, no, unfortunately, I have people working in my house. I have a lot of activities going on in my house. I couldn't go to church today. And I told my the teacher, because I'm assisting him, I am so pained because our topic today is on dressing. And coincidentally, I went out to run some errands and I saw one of my teenagers who was wearing one crazy shirt that was up here and all her body. She saw me, she was in as if she didn't see me. I had to call her, Joy. She told me, I was like, oh, good evening, man. I just felt bad that I was not in church today. This, they don't know, they don't have any idea. It is because they are left to figure it out. I'm not saying that when you leave your child, when you are involved in your child's life, they will not want to do some things. They will not be peer pressured. No, that is not the thing. But they will have the foundational knowledge that will constantly be a voice. Even when they are doing something, they will have, they will have some kind of thoughts that will come and just intrude from the foundation you have laid. They will be super conscious. Like what Coach Odegbami said the other day, that there were times her friends, they would just jump into vehicles and all of that. She would enter vehicles with them. She felt it was not a big deal. It was a way, So if she had a parent who didn't leave her to figure it out, even at times she will know that this vehicle I'm entering is because my friends are entering it, or maybe I will not be the first to enter. I will stay by the door, and then she'll be conscious. Okay, if I see somebody waving a handkerchief, I'm going to dodge. She just have that consciousness. Because parents will always come and pressure. Even adults, we feel peer pressured. That is the truth. So children will still feel that way, but they will be super conscious. And before you know what is happening, they may even wake up one and tell themselves, why am I even doing this? Why am I stressing myself? They'll make better choices because of your voice in their heads, because you are not leaving them. And when we talk about not leaving our children to figure it out, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of understanding them, what they are doing, pointing them to their strengths, to their weaknesses, pointing them to the decisions they are making, the lows of the decisions, the highs of the decisions, the good, the bad, the terrible in the decisions they are making. It's a whole lot. Be involved, helping them understand. Like you constantly point them. Like one thing I was telling one thing I've learned, I'm trying to so much do is like I tell my children that you don't give up. It's not an option. Resilience is one of our core values. So it simply means that you bounce back, and perseverance, patience, you are going to, that is under the right attitude. Under our right attitude, we have perseverance, we have resilience, and all of that. So, like this morning, I asked my daughter to help me to bring my wallet for me, because the house has been turned upside down because of the things I have ongoing in the house. She said she didn't find it. Mommy, I didn't find it. And so what I told her was, we don't quit until we see the end, right? So it means you are quitting. We don't quit. So that is it. That is part of her. Someone that easily, someone that is easy. She just like, I don't know how to put, someone that is quick to give up, quick to say no, especially when it doesn't interest her. So that particular aspect of her, I am not leaving it for her to figure it out on her own, to learn the hard way. I am being a voice in her head. So this one, I told myself, I'm going to use the phrase, we don't quit. So next time I will not start lecturing. I will not start explaining. When she comes and say, Mommy, I didn't find it, I'll tell her, we don't quit. That will already send the message, go back and look for it. So if it's going to take you 10, 20 times to look for it, you are going to get back. So I will just tell her, we don't quit. So I was telling myself, I'm going to look at all of their struggles. Some of the things I keep talking about, I'm just going to look for short phrases. I'm going to learn it on my own. And each time they come forward, and that behavior shows, I just use the short phrase to remind them that it is not acceptable. We are not standing for that. Now, this is ways I am not leaving them. It's not just about, it's relationship, another aspect. Relationship, we don't leave them. Friendship, school, no. We just don't leave them to figure it out. Because for all we know, they may learn the hard way. They may never learn at all. They may even get crushed. And Coach Inadu reiterated, when their mates are thriving, they would just be barely surviving. So no, leaving your children to figure it out is a no, no. Thank you so much, ma.
Thank you, ma. And I remember that during your session, I said something that if we leave them to figure it out by themselves, is you want your children wilderness experience to be elongated, which is something we do not want at all for any of our children. We desire that they will be better than us, they will achieve better than us, and they will be in a good position. And that is very important. I also want to say that from since Tuesday that this conference started, by now you have your action plan on everything that you have heard. What do you want to do with it? It is not enough for you to listen, to spend your data and your time without taking action. Not taking action will not make any difference between you and the person that did not attend. So your attending conference, it is important for you to take action. Take action in that aspect that your eye has been opened. That aspect that you have seen that this is where you are lacking, this is what is needed in the life of your child now, this is what is needed in your own life, the action, the role you need to start playing. What are you going to do? And to tell you that Visionary Parents Academy is open for the 2026 cohort. Between now and December, you can spread out your payments to become a paid member. And you start paying, you can spread it out so that it will not be burdensome for you. And that is one of the reasons why we are encouraging you. If you are interested and you have looked at it, that no, if we are giving this for free, what are you going to get for a whole year? I tell you, you cannot imagine it. You cannot imagine it. The advantages you will get being a member of the Visionary Parents Academy is huge. And if you take action, even from this conference, I guarantee you that you will get help. However, you might see areas where you will need help, and that is one of the reasons why we want to encourage you to come in. You can put in the comment section if you need any further clarity, or is there any question at the other hand? Do we have question from our viewer? All right.
No, ma.
All right. I think we deserve a thank you from everyone for this one week encounter. All right. Coach, you can round up, ma. Your last word.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Coach Inadu. Thank you so much, Coach Omolabake. Thank you so much, Coach David. And the conference has been a lot of learning for me and a lot of challenge. Coach Warimo gave us 2 assignments, and even Coach Ngozi, where she talked about connection, was how she won her daughter over. I do hope our parents in diaspora, especially African parents, they learned from that. It is super important to build connection with your children. Then Coach Karen also talked about how understanding your child. So it has been a lot. Then Coach Hellen, everyone, then Coach Adegoke. Really, I cannot get over her session. I just say everyone a big thank you to all the speakers. I do hope that you all get to watch this video to know that the Visionary Parents Academy team is really, really glad. We are appreciative of you. We say may God bless you plenty. And for all of you parents that actually joined this conference, I say, may God bless you. Your children will be great. They will shine. They will stand out. They will be seen. they will be heard, they will make you proud, they will make the nation proud, and above all, they will make God proud in the mighty name of Jesus. Whether you're a Christian or you're Muslim, your children will make you proud in the mighty name of Jesus. They will make God proud and they will make the nation proud. And I want to encourage you to take action. Coach Jinadu has said it. If you learn something, you are not taking action, is as good as just not learning at all. Knowledge doesn't grow us, it's action that grows us. I say to my children every day, you read a book, you don't apply, you remain where you are not growing. What makes you grow is you taking action. So I want to encourage everyone, please take action. And if you are still struggling in your parenting, or you just want to be in a community, or you want to learn more, the Visionary Parent Academy is yours, it's open. Our fee is not much, and like Coach Jonado has said, you can spread your payments from now till December and join us. We do amazing things there. We all learn. We are a vibrant community. We are one family. We network. We just do a lot of amazing things. And you ask questions and we grow together. We grow together. And I want to encourage you really to send a message so that you can join us. And we also have, for every summer, for every holiday, we have leadership programs for children, because we realize that, yes, parenting, who said, was it, I don't remember, one of the coaches that said is threefold. It's okay, I think it's worry mom that is okay. I think Adegoke is the child, the parents, and the school. You know, so now when it comes to parenting, it's you and your child. So we realize that many of the challenges parents have with children when it comes to behavior is because these children are not able to lead themselves. That is just the truth. They are not able to lead themselves. So they constantly wait for you to have to tell them what to do, how to do it, where to do it. You know, they don't realize that their life belongs to them. It is about them. I tell my children that every single thing you do is about you. It goes back to you. Everything you do goes back to you. From giving me water to drink, from serving me, serving your siblings, serving yourself. It is all about you ultimately. If these children have this knowledge that is about them, it becomes easier for them to behave. You know, they know that, oh, it is me, I'm doing it for my life, you know. So it is why we have the self-led mentorship class, where we nurture self-leadership in children, where we let them know that their life belongs to them. The choices they make impact them, affect them, whether today or in the long run. So we have our summer class upcoming by August, and we want you to register your preteen and your teen, usually from ages 8 to ages 17. We want you to register your child, and we guarantee you that their experience is going to be. Thank you, Coach Omolabake. Thank you so much, ma. We guarantee you that their experience is going to be. So a parent shared a video with me the other day about last week, and she said, see yourself leader. You know, the girl was in school, she went into campus politics, and she was campaigning, not reading something confidently, you know, sharing what she would do if she was voted and all of that. And I was super excited. I also remember when the girl was going for library. I was like, why library prefect? Well, I remember when my daughter also wanted to join politics in her school a couple of years ago when we were in Lagos. She also chose library prefect, and that was what she went for. You know, even though she didn't win, but she was able to sit down, write her points, you know, prepare her own speech and everything. She was able to practice, go there and face the audience. You know, I felt pain that she didn't win because of, you know, she wasn't very smart when it comes to streets and politics, you know, pushing and all those things. She really didn't know that. She learned from it. So in the self-leadership class, what we are doing is raising self-leaders. So I want to encourage you to register your child for the August 2025 edition. Again, thank you so very much. If you have further questions, leave them in the comments and we are going to take your questions. If you want to know how you can join the Visionary Parent Academy, if you have any of the coaches' numbers, Omolabake, Odegbami, Coach Jinadu, Coach David, Coach Enimi Orebo, just send a message to us and we are going to give you every information you need to join us in the Visionary Parent Academy. Thank you so much. And 2025, we are going to be having another conference again by the grace of God. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, coaches. Have a fantastic night's rest and a fantastic week.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye, everyone.